I don't know how this is going to sound, but I found it really hard. I found it weighed really heavy on me. Because, so, for example, like Ellie and I spent like sort of 4 days together in each other's company with the work thing, and I found it really hard. I found it really hard to constantly sort of try and be upbeat, to try and maintain a level of normality. And because she wasn't happy, and I knew that she was trying so hard to be, and she wasn't. But what's she supposed to do? You know, sit at home. And this was the point, you know, because I'd say to her, like, oh, you know, you don't have to do that. You don't have to come. She's like, yeah, but Sam, what am I going to do? You know, she's not the sort of person that would just sit at home on a sofa. She wouldn't allow herself to feel sorry for herself. But in the same breath, you know, you'd find it hard, because I felt for her, because I knew she was trying, and I knew she was trying to be present, and I knew she was trying to, you know, have fun and laugh, but it wasn't there. And that's hard. And to say that it weighed heavy sounds really selfish, but it did. And I would come home, or I would steal like 10 minutes to myself sometimes, and I would cry, you know, I would get upset. I wanted her to be back to the Ali, you know, that I know and loved. And I wanted things to all be okay, you know, I wanted it to be over, and it wasn't. And it was just a constant awareness of the fact that she wasn't quite there, and she wasn't happy. And seeing anyone you love unhappy, like battling something, is really hard, and it weighed really heavy. And yeah, I can see how, as awful as it sounds, I can see how friends and family get pushed away in situations like that. I found that I would speak to my husband about it, and to my, you know, people close to me, because, you know, then I would start to think, do I have to worry? Because you do read about these horrible, devastating stories of women that suffer from postnatal depression. And there was the day that I did sort of sit down, and I did it in the only way that I would know how to do it, which was in a jokey manner. And I sort of went, you know, do I need to worry about Gus? Do I need to worry about, you know, do I need to worry about you harming your own baby, basically? And she sort of sat there and went, no, I think we're okay there. We don't have to worry about that. So you're sort of like, okay. But then you walk away thinking, but is she just saying that? And I think that's just the real, it's, you know, it's that fine line. It's that tipping point between going, oh my goodness, you know, is something awful going to happen here? You know, and how closely can you monitor them? Because I couldn't move in. But, you know, it's the constant. It got so, it sort of then became a thing. It's like every morning it would be a good morning, how are you? If I didn't hear back from her, if I'd sent her a couple of messages or called, hand on heart, I would start to worry. To a couple of her close friends, and I felt the more people close to her that knew, the better. I don't know whether that's right or wrong, but I just felt it was like strength in numbers, and it wasn't about pretending it wasn't happening. It was about saying, I may not understand, actually understand is the wrong word, but I may not understand what you're going through, but I know what you're going through, and therefore I'm here for you. However I can be here for you to honestly tell me about it. But not being able to offer a solution as a friend to your friend's problem is really difficult. More so when you've never felt what they're feeling. We both found it really interesting, the lack of, I say lack, there's help out there, we know there is. We know there is, you know, we work with some fantastic organisations, but I think we were both very surprised by how it wasn't necessarily that easy to access that help. That the process was quite slow, and that, you know, Ali, you know, would say to me, you know, when she called her GP, and she's, you know, she's sounding fraught, she's got a screaming baby in the background, and you've got a woman that is openly admitting she thinks she's got postnatal depression, to then be told, no, sorry, we're not the people you should be speaking to, you should call this number, is really quite shocking. And that made me really angry, because for someone like Ali to have made that call in the first place is a huge thing. And then for her basically to have been dismissed, or to have been sort of palmed off onto somebody else, is just unacceptable. And she would say it herself, because she's not the sort of person that will just sit and cry and sob and tell anyone about what she's going through. you know, it's almost like then she's not taken seriously enough. You know, so it's that question of like, you know, she said, what am I supposed to do? Just ring and cry down the phone to some stranger? That's not her. And I think that that's something that very much needs to be taken into account with the services that are offered, that, you know, if you're not suffering from the world's worst, you know, or the severity of your postnatal depression isn't bad enough, what does that mean? That you don't get taken seriously? To the friends, or, you know, friends, close family, people that are close to somebody that's suffering from postnatal depression, I don't think there's a right or wrong way to deal with it. I think it depends on the person, you know, that you are dealing with. With Ali, I always tried to keep it light-hearted as much as I possibly could. We spoke about it a lot, like we really would. I would try and make sure I acknowledged it. I acknowledged that, you know, it's not the elephant in the room. She has postnatal depression, and whether I've experienced that myself or not, or whether I really can't understand what's going on in her head, I made sure that I asked about it and I addressed it and I kept it current. And I think that it's important that it's not ignored. I don't know what the right or wrong way thing is. I think with the postnatal depression, because once we understood it was chemical, once we understood it was something that would go with time, that made it slightly easier to deal with. But ultimately, it's just being there, I guess. And I think it is important that you find somebody for you to talk to. And you sound, you may feel, I don't know, really out of order for saying that, or for even feeling it. It's a bit emotional. But it's hard. It's really hard, because you're watching someone you love suffer, and there's nothing you can really do about it. And you don't want to distance yourself from them, because you want to be there and you want to help them. But being around them can be difficult. So I think it's a day at a time thing, and I think it's an honesty thing, and I think you've just got to make sure that you've got someone to speak to about it too. Yeah, but let's keep talking about it, because I think that is absolutely the most important thing that's come out of all of this. It doesn't matter what stage you are in your life. It doesn't matter if you're 3 kids deep or if it's your first kid. You've got to talk about it, and you have to use your friends and your support networks and tell them what you're going through. Don't expect them to understand if they've never been there. You'll get through it. And I think we have, touch wood, I say we, the royal we, I think Ali has. I'm insanely proud of her. I'm insanely proud of how she's handled everything, and still maintained a marriage and mothered 3 other kids and looked after her bloody dog. Yeah, well done, Ali. Really proud of you. I love you to the moon and back. And baby Gus has got one awesome mum.